Good morning, my friends. It is very early. It is 6:34, which is probably not early for some of you, but it's early. It's normal time that I leave, but I'm letting my car warm up. And I know that some people have said in the past couple of days, and I've heard them say, that they don't like doing car vlogs. Well, car vlogs are kind of the only time I have to vlog. So I have an hour drive from work and to work. So it's really when I have a few moments to talk to you guys. So I'm literally just pulling out of my driveway, which I'm not even going to get all the way out of my driveway before I stop because I have frost on my window and I need to stop and let the defroster take care of that. So I'm going to stop at the end of my driveway, and I've got some light here, and I want to tell you guys that I was tagged in my first Christmas tag. You guys know I'm new to YouTube. I've only got about 30 followers and or subscribers, and I wasn't even sure what a Christmas tag was. But what it is that a fellow YouTuber will ask some questions, and then you have to answer them, and then you tag another YouTuber. So the problem, well, I'll explain the problem at the end. So I'm going to answer all the questions, and then I will tag someone. I was tagged by the very first channel that I ever subscribed to, which is Living Large on Weight Watchers with Juli. And I love Juli. If you I will link her channel down below because I have just figured out how to do that. So I will link her channel down below, and I will make sure that you guys have her stuff. If you haven't gone over to her channel and checked her out and watched her videos, please do that. She was my very first inspiration. I just love her. She is the absolute sweetest, and I get inspiration from her every single day. She's like my meeting without going to a meeting. So anyway, first question. Which is my favorite, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or New Year's? Well, my favorite of the three would have to be Christmas. I do love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving at my house has gotten significantly smaller because people have their own families now, but my kids still come to my house. So this year it was nice and laid back. It was mostly about the food and family, and there was no drama. And then we went to bed early and had a good time. But Christmas is probably my favorite of the three, although I like them all. I like giving gifts. I like getting gifts. I love the whole hustle and bustle of Christmas. What I love, I'm sorry, most about the hustle and bustle of this season, as opposed to others, is that it eventually has an end. I like the stress of it, I guess, and the hurry up and get presents and all of that stuff, because I know it's eventually going to end, and then it'll come back again, but I have, a whole year before that happens. So it's a good stress, and it's just because it's a stress that eventually ends. What am I looking forward to most these holidays? Definitely spending time with family, having the kids over for Christmas Eve. And you're gonna hear me tell a lot about Christmas Eve because those are it's probably my favorite day of the season. I'm definitely looking forward to spending time with friends and family, and going, and I love giving what I think is the perfect gift. So I'm looking forward to that. I got everybody these really cool things this year that I love, and I'm looking really forward to that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the guy in front of me is doing. He's driving really, really slow, and he keeps looking over his shoulder. I think he's mad because I have my interior light on. Well, too bad. Do you have a wish list, or do I like to be surprised? Both. So, for those of you who watch my channel, you know that Norm gives me 25 Days of Christmas. It's a tradition that he's done for years. Every day for 25 years. Every day for 25 days, I get a small present. Now, before Weight Watchers, I get a lot of candy. I would get, the drinks that I like, those kind of things. It would be very small, very, just thoughtful little things that he picked up throughout his day or along the way. And just, lovely little things that he would, take care of, for me sometimes. So sometimes it was as simple as putting up the Christmas lights and, coming home and I'd be surprised with that. Or, depending on, our money situation at the time, sometimes they were just things he would do for me, wash my car. Other times they were big things. I've gotten Tiffany's for one of my 25 Days of Christmas. So, it just depended on where our financial situation was at the time. But then also I do I do make him a list of things that I kind of need, beauty products that I don't usually buy myself, stuff like that I don't like to spend the money on myself because they're more expensive than I like to pay. But I also like to be surprised because he's a really good gift giver. So I like to be surprised on Christmas morning. Number 4 says, name a few things that you are most thankful for. Norm, Amber, Danny, Carly. Those are my top 4. I'm thankful for Amber's fiance, Josh. I'm thankful for the fabulous friends that my kids have that keep them grounded. I'm also thankful for my job. I'm thankful for that I go every day to my job, and I have a fabulous class this year, and we're learning a lot together. And I'm thankful I have a roof over my head, that there's food on my table. And I'm thankful for Weight Watchers. I'm thankful for YouTube channels that have shown me how to chart this course, how to go on this journey. What's your number 5 is, what is my favorite dish to cook? So, I do love to cook. I am someone who loves to cook. I cannot cook for a small group. I have a hard time even when I'm meal prepping. I'm getting better, but even when I'm meal prepping, I have a hard time cooking for 2 or 3 people. Mine is always like big thing. I usually love to cook pasta dishes. Lasagna is one of my favorites to cook. It's one of my family's favorites. We have something called a poor man's lasagna, which is just basically lasagna with different noodles. So it's almost like a baked ziti. And, without having to layer it, they love that. And then I would probably say my favorite thing to actually cook is my stuffing that I make on Thanksgiving. And that's because the reviews that it gets from my family and the way that they fight over it just makes me feel good. And that's the best part about cooking for me, is I like that it makes other people feel good. I like cooking for other people. I will say though, lately cooking is not my favorite. Probably because I'm meal prepping, and I'm meal prepping for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for most of the week for me and Norm. And I'm trying to meal prep, Weight Watchers friendly stuff. So by the end of Sunday, I'm usually done with cooking. And if I had my way, someone said you can either have a home cooked meal every single day or you can eat out every single day. Mine would probably be eat out every single day, which is probably why I needed Weight Watchers to begin with. So that's my answer. Number 6, will I be hosting, going to friends, or traveling this season? So I am the consummate host. I hosted Thanksgiving. And Christmas Eve is done at our house. Christmas Eve was done at our house for years when my mom and dad lived here. They now live in South Carolina. And I bought the house that I grew up in, which is the house Christmas Eve was always hosted in, and I still live there. And so Christmas Eve is there again. We had 2 Christmas Eves in a different house when my parents first moved. But now they're back in our house, and I just love Christmas Eve. When my mom had it, it was a little more formal. Everyone got, not formal, but everybody got dressed up. The kids were little then, so you wore your Christmas dress, and you know, it was just, but it was still very laid back celebration. Now we all wear our pajamas, and families will come sometimes in like matching pajamas. So it's, you know, it's very laid back. It's fun. The gifts that we give on Christmas Eve are not real big and flashy and expensive. They're simply just thoughtful gifts. They're things that I saw this and I thought of you, or a lot of times they're theme gifts. I got everybody one of these, and they're just fun. It's just a night to spend with my family, the special parts of my family that I just adore. You know, unfortunately, we're like a lot of families, and not all of us speak to each other anymore. You know, and that's sad. It is, but it is what it is. But Christmas Eve has been a tradition that has continued at my house with those who choose to come. And we'll continue it. As far as I'm concerned, it's the way it works. And then Christmas Day, we usually stay at our house because we always had the little kids. But Amber's now moved out. Danny's old enough that, you know, she just wants to go back to bed. And, you know, so I think this year we actually may go and visit my nephew and see what my great nephew and great niece got for Christmas, because we just adore them. But then I also think my mother-in-law is coming Christmas Day. You know, and like I've said before, my mother-in-law is real sick. So if she comes on Christmas Day, we'll just kind of low-key and hang out with her. And last year she wasn't able to make it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So we're really hoping that this year things are different. She doesn't live that far away. She just couldn't get out of bed. Let's see. Pick your favorite holiday and share your decor, activities, tablescape, etc. Well, my favorite holiday is not in the traditional holiday season. My favorite holiday is actually Halloween. I love Halloween. I love everything about it. I love the spooky decorations. I hate horror movies, so that's not one of the things I like. But I love the kid Halloween part of it, and not the adult so much, I guess, but the kid part. The decorating for Halloween. I love black cats. If you come into my house throughout the rest of the year, even right now at Christmas time, I have my house decorated with witches, because I just love, especially like the Disney witches. But just the way that any people depict witches, I love it. Black cats, pumpkins, all my favorite. My family celebrates Halloween a little differently. We have a big dinner, and we go a little old school, and this year they camped out, and it rained, poor babies. And we light a big bonfire, and we keep the fire burning all night long. And because we believe that it goes into a new year with good luck. So that is part of our traditions. We have a big dinner. Family and friends come. It's almost like Christmas without the gifts. And our tablescape is full of gourds and fresh fruit and apples and pumpkins and anything Halloween-like. And we just have fabulous food and sit around and talk and well wishes for each other. And then we light the fire, and we sit around the fire and have adult beverages and keep the fire burning all night. And then in the morning we have breakfast, and so it's like a 2-day event, and we just love it. Let's see, I'm sorry, I wrote these down as I was like listening. What are some of my favorite traditions? Well, I just told you a couple of them. My favorite tradition is Christmas Eve at my house. Then we have another tradition where when my kids were little and we would leave to go to my mom's on Christmas Eve, I would always forget something in the house. If you have kids listening, you might want to turn this off for a second. So I would always forget something in the house. I forgot somebody's present, or I forgot my coffee or something. And I would run back in the house, and when the kids would get home from my mom's, Santa would have already been there, but only to drop off their magic pajamas. and they had to get in these pajamas, and of course they all matched, so that when they came down the next morning, they had pretty pajamas to get their pictures taken in, and they all matched, my 3 girls. So I would put the pajamas on the beds, and they would know that Santa Claus had already stopped by and left these pajamas for them, but they had to get into the pajamas and into bed and go to sleep and leave him some cookies and milk so that he could stop back and fill up their toys. And you know, they were the only ones that they knew that got this, and that's because they were special kids who, you know, were always good all year long, and it was just one of my favorites, and they look forward to it. And you know, Amber's 21, like I said, and moved out, and Danny's 19, and Carly's 16, and I'm pretty sure all of them still expect pajamas every year. And I haven't not given them pajamas every year. As a matter of fact, last year, I believe it was last year, I sent Josh, her fiance, home with the pajamas, and I told him he had to put them on the bed so that when she came home, they were there. So, you know, I still do that. Which movie gets me in the holiday spirit? Wow. So Thanksgiving night, we watch, or I force my family to watch, It's a Wonderful Life. It puts me in the spirit. It gets me to remember all the things, because it's kind of yes, it's definitely a Christmas movie, but it also kind of reminds you to be thankful for the things you have. It puts the holiday into perspective for me. And I know, Julie at Living Large on Weight Watchers, I know you said you were going to watch It's a Wonderful Life again. Watch it. It is heartwarming, and I love it, and it just gets me the start of the Christmas season every year, and it puts it in perspective for me. It reminds me that Christmas isn't just about gifts and all of the running around, that it's about so much more. I love all the cartoons. I love, you know, I love the Flintstones Christmas. I love the Grinch. I teach 5th grade, so I can still kind of show some of these movies. All the ones that used to come on TV, like 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, love all them. I love all the Christmas movies. But my absolute favorite, and this also leads into my number 10, my absolute favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Carol. While I love some of the new ones like Elf and Christmas Story, some of the newer Christmas movies just get kind of stupid to me. I agree with you on that, Julie. And they're just not funny. But I mean, I like some of them, like Christmas with the Cranks is good. But I like Nightmare Before Christmas, but just some of them aren't my cup of tea, I guess you could say. But I do love A Christmas Carol. It is my absolute favorite. I will watch any version of A Christmas Carol. My favorite all time is with Alistair Sim. I think it's from, I want to say it's from the 40s, but I'm not really sure. I think that's the best. My second favorite is actually the Disney one, not Mickey's Christmas Carol, which I love, but not that one. It's Disney's with Jim Carrey playing Scrooge. He's awesome in that, and I don't normally care for Jim Carrey, but only man to ever play Scrooge and the Grinch, by the way. That's my favorite. So my favorite Christmas memory, which is number 10, my question 10, is, so Norm will go out and try to find these old Christmas carols, right? So I have one that's from 1930. I have one that's literally like performed on a stage, and they filmed it, and the set doesn't change. And at one point you actually see the guy like go off stage, and it's crackly, and the hair like runs through the film. And that one is on the end of another film, another movie, which I think is Fred Claus, which I do like. But my favorite tradition is every year Norm tries to find me a new version of Christmas Carol. I have seen Mr. Magoo. I have seen like a Berenstain Bears Christmas Carol. I have seen, I just like the crazy ones. Flintstones is one of my favorites. So I love watching all of the Christmas carols, and that is some of my favorite memories, is Norm going out and trying to find these ones. And sometimes he doubles them because he forgets that he bought the ones that he bought. And that happened this year. He got me one that he already got me. So, and they're my favorite memories. As a child, one of my favorite memories was my parents one year bought me a sliding board, and in my house, where the kids are and where my parents were, you had to cross through the living room, which of course where the tree was and everything. And I didn't go and wake my parents up. I just saw the sliding board and started playing with it right there in the living room. And I will never forget this living room with the tree and the sliding board. And I just played on it, and probably for, I don't know, it felt like forever, but probably a couple of minutes before my parents woke up. And it was big. It wasn't like one of those little kid crisp, like ones that you see now, the plastic ones. No. This was a big metal one in the middle of my living room. Probably unsafe because it wasn't, it was teetering, you know. And then my favorite for my kids' Christmas memory, I remember just Christmases in general, decorating the tree. But one of them, I just remember going and having their pictures taken with Santa Claus, you know, and getting pictures done. I remember doing cookies. I remember just the magic of Christmas with them, and all of it kind of runs together. And doing Toys for Tots was one of our favorite things. So anyway, so I told you guys there was kind of a problem. Most of my subscribers, I told you I have about 30, most of my subscribers don't show up on my subscribers list because they keep their subscriptions private, I guess. And none of the ones that show up as subscribed have a YouTube channel. So, I am going to tag Carly Rebecca, which is my daughter, because she sometimes watches this channel. And you can just link it onto my channel if you want. And I'm also gonna tag Norm Short, which means I'm gonna have to film it and it'll show up on this channel too. And he probably won't tag anybody because he doesn't understand how this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna tag some people who don't follow me but that I follow. I'm going to tag Jess at Weight Watchers Journey for Healthy. And I'm also going to tag Juli again. But Juli, you don't have to do this one. But if you want to put in your comments or in my comments, tag someone else who follows you, they can also do it. And if you do it, let me know so I can come watch. Again, Juli, thanks so much for giving me my very first YouTube channel to watch and be inspired by. And also, thank you so much for my very first Christmas tag. I just love you. And Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays. Mwah.